Guys, how are we? It is Spencer G from Slaughterhouse Sports, and happy to be with you guys on this late Wednesday evening edition of the show. It is Wednesday, November 20th, and on Sunday, believe it might be the 24th, we have a matchup out in the desert. We have the Denver Broncos traveling to play the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is a critical game in the AFC. Denver right now is on a one-game winning streak after losing to Kansas City, but they've been playing really good football. And Denver needs to keep pace in this AFC because nipping at their heels, there's 7 spots in the wild card, and nipping at their heels is going to be the Dolphins that are right now on a 2-game winning streak. We also have the Indianapolis Colts that are right there. The Bengals are still talented, but they might be out of the picture. But right now we have the Chargers and the Ravens, and there's a possibility Denver is 1 game, I believe, behind the Chargers. And the Chargers have actually won 4 straight games, and then later in the year they're going to play. But really for the Raiders, it's been a rough year. They fired former Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. So they fired Getsy, and then last week they turned in an all-right performance in a tough environment to go to Miami to play an early game. Their offense actually played decent last week. And the real bright spot of their offense is the number 12 overall pick, one of my favorite players in the NFL, Brock Bowers. All Brock Bowers does is puts his, head to the grindstone, nose to the grindstone, just works. And again, his personality's fine. But he's like somebody who's actually pretty comical personality-wise because he's just like, I see football, I catch football, I do football things. He's not going to be somebody that's going to, give you just so much soundbite and so much airtime when you're interviewing Brock Bowers. But he'd be a really fun guy to have on Slaughterhouse or Rover Sports. And the guy at Georgia was an all-time legend, and you see without Brock and Ladd, just Brock Bowers has been an outstanding rookie and one of the better guys in the league. We look at his receptions, 13 against the Dolphins, 126 yards, so his best game in the NFL. And what Scott Turner, what North Turner, the Turners, it's a father-son operation calling the plays now for the Raiders. They're going to try to get him involved in this offense because really running the football, whether it be with Madison or whether it be with Zamir White, it hasn't really panned out. So now let's look at the matchup. Again, Denver right now favored by 6 points. Let's check out the trends of this matchup and see if any surprises. So, okay. The Denver Broncos, all right. Denver on offense is rated like in the high teens and 20s. They are 58% in the red zone, which is obviously going to be a factor. And then Bo Nix on the road this year, like in New Orleans, like that's really a game where they played well. I want to know how they run the football. That's what I would really want to see. The Raiders, they let up 28 points a game, so their defense isn't exactly fantastic. And then, of course, this is really the mismatch is offensively. The Raiders are really poor offensively. They've lost 6 straight games. They only average 18 points a game. They only average 285 yards for the game. And then the Denver defense is statistically fantastic. Opposing yards per play, they're number 1. Opposing points per game, they're number 1. Like Riley Moss has been a stud at cornerback. We knew Surtain was a beast. And so Vance Joseph has done a really nice job. In terms of running the football, let's see, Denver Broncos, opposing rushing yards, like they don't allow anything. They only allow 3.8 yards a carry, and the Raiders don't really run it. So up front, Denver needs to take care of business in this game. All right. And then in terms of turnovers, once again, you can intercept Gardner Minshew. So Denver has to take the damn life out of the Raiders because the Raiders look like a team that's limping right now. You don't want to give the Raiders any life at home. This is important again, just like the Saints game was, just like the Carolina Panthers game. Usually like the Broncos will start off slow and then they'll get things moving. And in that first Raiders game, like it was still early on with Bo Nix, but the first quarter was really, really sketchy for Denver. And then they got the pick six with Surtain, and they were able to roll. So you have to punch this team in the mouth and hopefully get a decisive victory here. This is not one of these wins that if Denver wins by 10, people are not even going to blink, the national media. But this is the type of game that you have to keep your season going. On the road, divisional game. This is still an NFL opponent. Antonio Pierce, everybody trying to keep their jobs and keep the season moving. And the Raiders made an offensive coordinator change and looked okay against the Dolphins. So I know they don't have Devontae Adams, but they still have a couple of players like Crosby, Wilkins inside. They still are going to pride themselves on being physical. So this is a game for Denver. Like, we're going to learn a lot about Denver. If you're a playoff team, which I think Denver is, then this game should look like the Carolina Panthers game. This game should look like the first Raiders matchup where you're decisively better and you put it on the opponent, So New Orleans, Carolina, the Raiders game at first was very, very close, and it could have got away from Denver, but I think Denver's improved so much. And then hopefully Javonte Williams gets over 90 yards rushing. Hopefully Denver controls the time of possession. They don't make turnovers. They're not penalized. Denver has a better team in this game. The defense is so much better on Denver, and the wide receivers are better. Are they going to cover? I think Denver can cover if I were to say a side. So again, excited about this game. Huge game in the division. Take care of business, okay? Don't ride the high. If you're Denver. Everybody right now, everyone in the free world is saying that Bo Nix is right back in it for Rookie of the Year, that Denver found a franchise quarterback, that Denver found somebody who could get to their second contract and be a really, really good quarterback. And I was saying that before the draft. Like, I believe Bo Nix is legit. But again, I don't like all this positivity getting to Denver, all right? There's a ton of what Nick Saban would call rat poison from the national media now that are just absolutely foaming and drooling about Denver after Bo Nix's last game. So it's up to them to remain professional and, again, stay level-headed, get the job done in the desert. Let me know what you guys think about this contest.